Good afternoon, everyone. The President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, is part of a gigantic COVID-19 scientific fraud and propaganda campaign that caused and continue to cause massive violations of human rights, freedom, and is a threat to the democracy in Europe. Because of her actions and major conflicts of interest, she should resign from her position as the President of the Commission. Now, some details to support this. As we all know, it's in the media, the President was involved in the private communication with the CEO of Pfizer before signing the purchase agreement with this private company, but refused to disclose the content of this communication. This is a clear violation of principles of transparency and good public administration. Second, according to the disclosed segments of the agreement with Pfizer, and not all parts are disclosed, and which is another violation of the same principles, the European Commission has to coordinate external communication with this private commercial entity and to promote COVID-19 vaccines as the global public good. This is not science, this is not good governance, this is an execution of vaccine business plan, and the President of the European Commission acts as the chief sales representative of this business. Three, as a result of this commitment, Ms. von der Leyen has been actively advocating vaccination as the only way to end the pandemic. This is a lie. There have been efficient and not expensive medical treatment protocols from the start of the pandemic. Now, thousands of doctors around the world are testifying this, but the President of the Commission has been ignoring this all along. Four, Pfizer, after signing the contract with the Commission on May 20, 2021, claimed in their press release that the pandemic is likely to last for several more years and we all will have to be vaccinated a number of times. How can they know that, and why the President of the European Commission has to subscribe to this notion? Number five, the Commission has been cooperating with social networks on so-called fact-checking, in other words, censorship of scientific and public debates about COVID-19. This collaboration was announced as early as 10th of June 2020 and is one of the main driving elements of COVID-19 propaganda. Six, according to the official declaration of interest of President von der Leyen, her husband, Heiko von der Leyen, is the medical director of a biopharmaceutical company. He is also an advisor to another company, consulting firm for German and European healthcare market. Since Ms. Ursula von der Leyen is actively involved in active promotion of COVID-19 vaccination business, this is another major conflict of interest of hers. Because of all this, she has to resign from her position as the President of the European Commission, and I call on the leadership of all political groups and leadership of the European Parliament to support this request and to finally create an investigative committee of COVID-19 pandemic. People of the European Union need answers from this Parliament on how and why this pandemic started, how it was managed, and how to prevent it from happening again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sses. I would like to give the floor now to my colleague Ivan Sinčić from Croatia.
Thank you very much, Mr. Terhes. Thank you very much, dear colleagues, dear guests. I would like to say a few words about mandates, especially digital COVID certificate mandates and, of course, vaccine mandates, especially in the light of an idea that comes from the European institutions about prolonging for 1 year, that means to 2023, the digital COVID certificate. I will say it loud and clear, we are strongly against that. Digital COVID certificate has been proven completely useless, not just useless, it was proven to be backfiring, to be counter-effective. It gives people a false sense of security. It has become a tool of pandemic marketing, forcing people. Now governments are openly admitting it, that it was a tool to put pressure on the people to take the vaccines. The DGC itself is undemocratic. It is blackmailing citizens of Europe for their fundamental rights, for their human rights, for their constitutional rights. In some countries, unless you have a DGC, you cannot access your job, you cannot access your supermarket or store, you cannot access public buildings, etc., etc. It is, as I said, not just useless, it is backfiring, and it is basically a license to spread and infect. There is a James Bond movie from the 1980s saying license to kill, and what we have here is an analogy. We have a license to spread and infect. If you're vaccinated, you are considered safe, even though science has proved to us, not just now and in the last months, but before the DGC was even implemented, for example, in the European Parliament in November, there were major scientific evidence in the Lancet and others saying that vaccinated people also can spread the disease almost at the same level as unvaccinated. And this is just one of the evidences. But European institutions continue to ignore this. They continue to ignore these facts. Luckily, some governments, especially recently, have decided to abolish all measures and mandates, and they have set a path to a normal life, or to old normal. And with all this unconstitutional, undemocratic and unscientific behavior, the agents of pandemic marketing, such as President of the Commission, von der Leyen, and we have very suspicious information about that, even in the mainstream media now, they continue to promote this madness. Then they now want to extend digital COVID certificate for another year, and we strongly advocate against this. When it comes to vaccine mandates, I must say that some European leaders, such as Mr. Macron from France and Mr. Draghi from Italy, and we have some statements from Austria as well, and these three countries are probably the worst countries when it comes to mandates in Europe, have demonized part of their people that decided that one way of treatment is not best for them, that they want another kind of treatment. They demonized, they ostracized part of their people that simply want to exercise their human rights, their rights to be informed, rights to informed consent, and rights to choose their own therapy. We condemn this, and we simply cannot believe that something like this is happening in Europe in the 21st century. Basically, why would anyone, like Austrian government, want to force their population to take experimental medical product? And the last year has shown to us very low effective, very low quality medical products with plenty of side effects, more than all the other products combined in 30 years, with zero long-term safety. Why would any government in the world or in Europe want to do that, to experiment on its own people, not knowing what will happen in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years? It's a total disaster, and we strongly protest against this, and we are also very happy to be proven right, that what we were claiming, and we were claiming what the science showed us, what the practice showed us in the last few months, that we are on a right path, and we are very happy to see that all around the world many governments are lifting their mandates, and that the people are